Breaking news is in as NBA insiders provide us with the updated asking price for Nikola Vucevic. We're going to be talking about if this is a good thing for the Chicago Bulls and what they should do. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so today we have an update around Vooch and the possible asking price for him. And we're going to be talking about if this is a great thing for the Chicago Bulls and how do they really move forward as we approach trading season here, because remember, Sunday, December 15th, that is where these contracts are going to start to be eligible to be moved. Some of these players who signed in the offseason are now eligible then obviously it's going to heat up a lot more as we move closer to the trade deadline. But let's go ahead and jump into this recent update here. And so this is via the Stien line. That is where you can find Mark Stien and Jake L. Fischer. They're writing over there, but this is recently what we just just came out here that says that, look, after failing to extract any draft compensation from Oklahoma City in its Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey swap in June, Chicago is said to be seeking a first-round pick to part with center Nikola Vucevic, who has had a tremendous season offensively. The two-time NBA All-Star is averaging 21 points, 9.8 rebounds per game, while shooting a sizzling 58.7% from the field and 47% on threes this year. And so, look, that is a huge update here, because we had heard before, from Jake L. Fischer that perhaps 2 second rounders would be the starting point for a Vooch trade. And I think that most could say that just with the way that he's playing this year, you can obviously see it right there for yourselves with these splits, the 58.7, the 47.4, and then also to 85.2. That split, it's actually the best that he's had since he's been a Chicago Bull. And I think that when we were talking about both him and Zach Lavine playing up their trade value, I think that Vooch has been exceptional this year and playing that trade value up. And make no mistake about it, it's not just the fact that he's knocking down three-point shots and he's come back from that 29% shooting percentage that he had last season. It is his ability to score in the paint as well. And so, look, he is hitting mid-range shots. He is also giving people just business on the block as well with these up and unders and things like that. Like, Vooch has seriously been a new player. And so, with that being said, the first part of the report and going into the fact that now the Bulls are looking for a first-round pick for him, I think that that is the right move, because you don't want to be a franchise that sells low on your players. And I think that Vooch, the way he's playing, I'd say at least maybe a first-round pick, or first-round protected pick, So at least a first-round protected pick at least, and then you can kind of go from there. Because I think with 2 second-round picks, look, if it's true what we heard last season with Andre Drummond, and that the Philadelphia 76ers were looking to get him for 2 second-round picks, no disrespect to Andre Drummond, but Vooch, the way he's playing, he should at least get a protected first-round pick. And so I think that it's good that the Chicago Bulls are willing to start the negotiations high like that, because you don't want to start at just 2 second-round picks, because it can only go down from there. So I think in a negotiation, this is good that we're seeing a front office that is perhaps willing to now start a little higher, and then you can work your way down. And so I like that. And then also, too, if this is true, what we're hearing, from the Stien line here, that the Chicago Bulls are looking at what they did over the summer with the Josh Giddey and Alex Caruso deal. Look, I think that that is great, because that really tells us as Bulls fans that this franchise is now trying to course correct from its past mistakes. Because, look, OKC, when I looked it up, this is one of the teams that for the next 5 to 7 years, they might have some of the most first-round picks over the next 5 to 7 years. And so to the fact that the Chicago Bulls could not get a first-round pick it is just, it's mind-boggling. And then they couldn't get a second-round pick. I mean, that's just, it's absurd at this point. And so this just cannot happen moving forward, especially for a team that you know that you're probably headed towards more of a teardown. You need as much draft capital as possible. So you cannot afford to go into this deal and not maximize the draft capital. So I think that it's a win-win here, because if this is true, we are seeing a Chicago Bulls franchise that clearly understands that you cannot operate the way that you have been operating and expect to get any further than you've gotten before. And so a good news that we're hearing here, that, the Chicago Bulls are looking to up this asking price to, this first round pick for Vooch. And so with that being said, just looking at teams that might be interested in Vooch, we have the Lakers, we had the Golden State Warriors. These are teams that I think are very much probably in the hunt, or at least what we're hearing from the trade rumors. And I think that with Vooch, it makes sense to go out there and get him, because I do agree a lot of, what Jake L. Fischer had said on that last CHGO podcast that he was on, that, Vooch is very much a plug and play type of player. And so I do think that, if you're going to go out there and you're giving up a protected first round pick for Vooch, you're doing it in the sense that you think that Vooch is going to be the guy that is going to help you make a deep playoff run, or he's going to help you get over the top. And really, to be honest with you, it's almost like it's a low risk for you if you're going after Vooch, because let's be clear, he's going to be an expiring contract. And so he's already played a portion of this season. Depending on when teams go out there and get him, you're not going to have that contract on the books, as long. But I think just based off just what I'm hearing from Vooch and some of the things that he talked about over the summer, and just saying that he wanted to play some more years after his contract is up, this leads me to believe that Vooch is absolutely locked in. And I don't think that this is something that you're going to see really taper off. I know that his age is probably a factor out there, and just wondering, okay, is he going to have now a decline after this year? I think that you're going to see him stay right around these numbers. I'm not saying he's going to shoot spectacular, but I think that Vooch has worked on his shooting form. He's locked in. He's eager to prove that, all the narratives around him and him kind of declining, he feels like he's still got some years left. So I think a team very much can get some value out of that. And so with Golden State, when I look at the possibility of them getting him, I think that you are getting a plug and play, but the teams that are going to get him are also going to have to really adjust a little bit as far as their philosophy is concerned, because Vooch, yes, he is going to help stretch the floor for a team like Golden State. Make no mistake about it. He's also going to give them a little bit of a post presence. Obviously, defensively, he's a bit of a liability there, but you have some defenders around him on the team, and that goes into the teams that would go get him. But with Golden State, they would have to be willing to accept spending for Vooch right now, because with that contract, I think back at some of the centers that they've had and in the center that they have on the roster, they generally don't pay that much for centers. So like Kevon Looney, I don't think they paid him that much. Bachulia, then you have also JaVale McGee, David West, Andrew Bogut, James Wiseman. Like, these are some of the centers that they've had in the past, and they generally don't pay for centers. So this would almost be like an all-in move if Golden State were to go out and get him. They do have the draft compensation to go get him, and they're also at that first apron as well. So they could probably make something happen there. With the Lakers, this is a team that I think that if they're trying to maximize Anthony Davis, LeBron James, then you go out there and you get Vooch. I don't think that he gets in the way of what Anthony Davis wants to do, and I don't think that he gets in the way of what LeBron James wants to do as well. And so, look, I think that this is something where the Chicago Bulls have done the right thing by putting out that they want to go with a first-round pick. I think you can at least get a protected first-round pick. I think that those are some of the teams that might be interested in him. I think a team like the Pelicans, now with what's going on with Brandon Ingram, the situation with Zion Williams, I don't know if that necessarily makes sense to get Vooch over there, because I don't know if they're really locked into a win-now situation. But I could see another team want to jump out there and get him that needs that added center support support and a player that could stretch the floor, get down on the box, and maybe help you get deep into the playoffs and maybe get to a championship. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about this recent news that we're hearing from the Stien line that the Chicago Bulls are looking to seek a first-round pick. Is this a good thing? Is this a great thing, actually, for the Chicago Bulls fan base that, hey, they are actually realizing that you cannot be a franchise that continues to be lowballed in these trades that you're making? And so I'd love to know what you're thinking in the comments. Want to thank everybody out there for liking, subscribing, and sharing to the content. It means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest as we try to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the NBA season out there. Wanted to let you know that about 68.3% of you that watch are not subscribed to the channel. So, hey, make sure that you hit that like and you definitely slam dunk on that subscribe button as it helps us reach our subscriber count here. So I just want to say, look, this is great news if this is true. Once again, this is something that is reported there in the Stien line. And so who knows? We haven't heard an executive say that. But if this is true, this is great for the Chicago Bulls fan base. And hopefully, as this trade deadline comes closer, we know that the December 15th is coming up tomorrow. Hopefully we start to see some movement here for Vooch and we can get back some of that draft capital. And so anyway, go Bulls, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.